So is it safe to say that the existing 1.6 gallon toilets that are coming out, could you safely say that a lot of them don't flush 1.6 and they're doing more than that?
What it is that some are right on. They, some fill valves on new OEMs don't even have a refill port. So they're more balanced. So it's not to say that 100% across the board. But in this study, we found a couple of big name toilet manufacturers that were 1.6s that were about a year and a half old. Actually, two in the same unit, and we measured just over a half a gallon per flush. That was in that runoff. So one thing that I need to expand on is that runoff does zero for the flush. This is nothing. You're not affecting the flush. This is all on the refill side. So the flush has already gone out. It took another 15 seconds to refill that bowl. Then you see that ripple going on for the next 45 seconds. Well, there you lost 3/4 of a gallon.
In full disclosure, I mean, Michael speaks the truth that if you have a replacement fill valve, it's mandated by the standards to refill the maximum 21% to the bowl. As an OEM, we don't let our fill valves out with that. So we're not, the OEM, as a customer buys it, it's not wasting the quart or more.
And the one that I'm speaking of, it was an OEM, and it was a big name one, and it was over a half a gallon per flush, brand new out of the box. That was occurring in runoff. So it's some of them have it dialed in, and some of them are still off. I believe that they're getting better, but what ends up happening is that even if that OEM didn't have a refill port on there, eventually when somebody goes to make a repair on it, they're going to buy an off-the-shelf flapper and fill valve, and now that, guess where the refill tube goes? Because there is a port there. So it goes right back down into the bowl, and now you can be wasting up to 2.5 quarts just in by replacing the fill valve. So this is something that it has zero impact on the flush. It's right under everybody's nose. Let's see, what haven't I talked on? Okay, one thing is the 1.6 is right here. It's up to 43 ounces that we've seen on average at a couple of studies that we've done with Marriott's. But that could have been skewed one way or the other. It could have been brand new OEMs that had it perfectly balanced, and that number would be zero. Or what can happen is you can have a 1.6 gallon toilet. If their flapper leaks, somebody's going to go to the hardware store, buy new parts. So they buy a new fill valve and they buy a new flush flapper. Just by replacing that 1.6 gallon flapper with a 3.5 gallon flapper, so now it's draining out the whole tank. Now that toilet can use up to 4.5 gallons per flush. So basically what's happening there is you're draining out the entire tank, right? And then on top of draining out the entire tank, now because you're refilling the whole time that tank's refilling, right? So all that extra water is going down the bowl. So just by replacing the fill valve and the flapper, you can actually make that 1.6 use 4.4 gallons of water per flush. And this is a very, very common occurrence. We do stuff with apartments and hotels, and I just had two of them last week where we did a training with apartment engineers. And
that's just a 5-minute warning bell for everybody for the first session. Thank you.
Toilets? And everyone raised their hand. And then we went through the difference between a 1.6 flapper and a 3.5 gallon flapper. And every single one of them, unless the toilet was brand new, every single one of those guys admitted that they only stock the 3.5 gallon flappers. They don't have a 1.6 on the property, and that they've gone through the whole property and replaced all the flappers. So now you've taken that 1.6, moved the dial the wrong way.
I think what you're pointing out is absolutely true, and what CJ said is absolutely true. I mean, I know I've seen the testing that we do on our products, and I know that our total refill uses 1.6 gallons. I mean, we have strict tests that we do on them in our labs, and it's 1.6. The problem that you're seeing here is what happens in the aftermarket, because people can buy these things and put anything on there. I mean, we're coming out with a whole line of our Flowwise HETs that are 1.28, but you can put I know you can put a 1.6 flapper on it. Probably you can put a 3.5 from what you're saying, and you've just defeated the whole thing. As an OEM, we try to encourage, we actually have warranties on like our Cadet 3s and our Champion 4s, and encourage people to buy the replacement parts from us, but we can't control that. So I mean, what you're saying is a problem, and obviously if they would buy your parts, they could do a great job for saving water, but how many consumers are savvy enough to do it, or diligent enough to do it, or would even want to do it? I mean, what we're finding is a lot of people don't believe in 1.6s, and they say, oh, I can get a 3.5 for this, great, because more is better. I think that is a big part of the problem. The products are out there to save the water. How do you get the people to want to use them? I mean, people in general, from my experience talking with them, don't necessarily, unless they're, very ecologically aware, they believe more water is better. They still believe more water is better, and if they have an opportunity to buy something that'll use more water, they're going to do that. So your product may be out there and may be great as far as saving. I mean, it sounds good. We're doing everything we can as an OEM to encourage this, but now the aftermarket, how do you control that?
Yeah. Well, that is the problem to, it's all consumer awareness. And just trying to build that, we're working with the retailers to, for example, doing end caps with the videos going. We have a lot of, here's a good example. If you can show them that ripple, and 9 times out of 10, the people go, I know exactly what you're talking about. The bowl fills up first. Yeah, got it. Actually, it's greater than that. So if you can point that out to them, and you show them, okay, now you're just calibrating this. Now it's simply a matter of they'll go from buying a toilet fill valve because it's a replacement because their toilet's broken, to buying several for all the toilets in the house because this is an ongoing problem. So I think it's consumer awareness. It's getting the word out. We have excellent videos that we're going to be using a lot more, taking advantage of on end caps and that on the retail side. On the municipality side, actually let me just real quickly advance this. What we did is we did an analysis between if you wanted to replace all the toilets versus doing a toilet fill valve rebate. So basically what we did is we said, okay, the municipality has $100,000 to work with, right? So now if they were buying 1,000 toilets and doing a $100 rebate on it, now they can affect only 1,000 toilets, and assuming that those toilets were 3.5 gallons and they were replacing it with the 1.6, your savings per flush is going to be 1.9 gallons per flush. So you got a higher savings per flush ratio. So basically, if all those toilets got flushed once, you're saving 1,900 gallons. Now you do that with the same $100,000. Now you're able to affect 10,000 toilets, but your savings is less. Our average is just over a half a gallon, so we factored in 0.6. So now you can see here, if all those 10,000 toilets were flushed once, your savings overall is $6,000. So this is something that can be a nice complement to any toilet rebate program that municipalities are offering. We're currently working with Cobb County and the city of Atlanta, where they are doing rebates right now as we speak. Excellent. Well, I certainly appreciate everybody's interest and great questions. Thank you.